So we are going to practice how to paint with acrylic paint. So for acrylic paint, we use these palettes. And part of the reason is you have to wash these out at the end. The ice cube trays are for temper paint, and we can just kind of chunk that out after it dries. So you're going to have to be prepared to leave time to wash this out when you're done today. So you're going to need one of these. And we're going to be playing around with value. So we're going to choose one color. So I just grabbed one color. I'm going to grab my paint, and I'm going to shake this up by just holding the lid here and shaking it back and forth, right? Because I want to make sure if it's settled, it's nice and ready to go. Make sure you hold the lid. Now I'm going to pop this open gently. If it's got a bunch of paint in here, peel it out and throw it in the garbage. Then I'm going to take a dime-sized amount of paint. So that means I'm just taking the paint and squeezing out a little bit. So see how I took just a tiny bit, right? Then I'm going to be able to use all that paint and not waste any. So I'm going to close this up and put this back inside the bin that says acrylic paint so others can use it. Do not keep it at your table. Then I'm going to need some black, which this black is looking pretty nasty here because someone got a little aggressive. I'm going to peel this chunk out, throw it in the garbage. All right, so put that in the garbage in a minute. Get rid of this so I can help out my fellow classmates here, clean everything up a bit. So same thing, I want to make sure that this is nice and mixed up. So I'm going to take this, shake it up a bit, take the lid, and then take just a teeny bit of black. Especially for black, you don't need a lot because black really becomes dominant. So I'm just going to take a little bit, take this, put it back inside where it says acrylic paint goes. Then I am going to take some white, same idea, shake it up, open this up. Hey, I can help someone out again. I can peel this out, throw this out. Then I'm going to take just a teeny bit of white on the other side. Whoop. Like that. So just a little bit. Just squeeze lightly. Then go put that away. Now, what I'm going to be doing is creating what's called a value scale. So I have this sheet, and I'm going to develop the idea of value in my sketchbook or on this sheet. Now, to do that, I'm going to set up my page in the same way that this sheet is set up. And what I'm going to do is write down the stuff first. So I'd write down value, tints, tones, and shades. Now, why would I do that? It's proven that if you actually write things out, you will be more likely to remember them. So that's why we go about doing this rather than just using this worksheet. So value, tints, tones, and shades. That's what you're going to be playing around with, exploring. Then you're going to write on the top of this value practice. All right, so we're going to be using all of this for future skills. Then you're going to write the definitions for value. So value is the lightness or darkness of a color. So the lightness or darkness of a color. All right, so I've got that. Now next, I have tints. So tints are colors with white. All right, tones are colors with gray mixed in. And then shades are colors with black. So now we're going to start down here. As we move down, we're going to start actually doing this. So we're going to create a value scale that has about 7 sections. So you're going to create a line and a line all the way across your sketchbook. Then go ahead and make this into 7 equal-ish sections. And I'm pushing lightly always with my pencil. So I have 1 section, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 sections. And what I'm going to try to do right now is I'm going to go from light to dark with just my colors that I have here. So before I do that, though, I'm going to want to play around with tints and shades a bit. So on the bottom now, as you see on the sheet when you open it, you're going to do tint, tone, and shade. And what you're going to do then is put a circle, put a circle, put a circle. All right. And put plus sign, plus sign, plus sign, circle, 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 equals. It's like a little art math here. And we're going to actually make these now before we create our value scale, because it will help you quite a bit as you're moving throughout. So I'm going to take my paintbrush now, and I am going to first create a tint. So the tint was colors with white. So I'm going to take a little bit of my violet and mix it with a bit of white. And I am going to try to paint as cleanly as possible inside my circle and make a nice smooth tint. All right. So then, oh, scratch that. I goofed. So the tint is going to be over here. So I'm doing white and my color in these. So I just kind of do it backwards here on this one. But I'm going to just kind of get all the paint off my paintbrush or rinse it off in a water cup. Now, if I rinse it off in a water cup, I'm going to want to make sure that I dry my brush. So I'm just going to add white here. This will be white. Try to paint that in as nicely as possible. All right, then I'm going to get rid of my color. And I'm going to put purple over here. So I did it a little bit backwards on this first one, and that's okay. But I'm going to see how if I put purple with white, I get that tint. So next, I am going to do a tone. So a tone is gray plus my color and what that equals. So I have just purple now. I'm going to put purple here. Try to paint this in as nicely as I can, you know, really trying to work on brush control, not smashing my brush, not kind of working my way around. Now, I'm going to have to make gray. So I'm going to have to rinse my brush out and make a gray. So I'm going to make gray, I'm going to do a little bit of black and white. So I'm going to do that in one of the paint wells over here. It's going to be more white than it is black. Okay, so now I have gray that I can mix with my purple to make that. So first I'm going to paint in this little spot here. So it's going to be, I'm making a gray. All right. And then I'm going to mix these two together to make my tone. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a little bit of purple with my gray. And I am going to paint this in and to create my tone. All right. So I have a tint, a tone, and then I'm going to make my shade. So the last one we are taking just, we're going to go black, our color, and then a shade. So I'm going to take my purple and fill in the color. Like so. All right. Then I'm going to put black inside this circle. So I'm going to grab my brush and I'm going to paint this in black. So just straight black now. Should be nice and dark. Again, trying to take my time, work on brush control. See if I can fill this in as clean as possible as I go. Trying to get better every single time. Okay. Now I'm going to do purple and black to make my shade. So I'm going to take a teeny bit of black and some purple, and I'm going to paint this in with black and purple. Now, if I wanted to get more opaque, which means not see-through, then I can add layers of color. So actually, if you buy more expensive artist grade paint, has a higher viscosity, which means it's thicker. So if I had this one in the right spot, it would go light to medium to dark. So tint, tone, shade. After I complete that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make a value scale, and I can do it a couple different ways here. I can, if I want to just use straight purple and go from light to dark, I can. Or if I want to mix in some of these tints and shades, I certainly can as well. So I'm going to take my time, and I'm going to make a really black purple on the one side. So really dark, and I'm going to really try to take my time and fill this in nicely. So I have nice clean lines. I'm going to need to get some more paint here. All right, then I'm actually just going to add more purple to my brush. Start filling in this one. And I'm going to just want to make it go from dark to light all the way over. So now I'm just using straight purple and continuing to go over. So there's a teeny bit of black left in my brush, but I'm letting it kind of come out as I go. And then into the middle, I could start adding a little bit of white in if I want to, or a little bit of that gray that I had mixed. As I work my way across. And I can start grab some of this a little bit lighter, and I'm going to actually start here because this is a really light purple with lots of white in it. All right, I'm going to grab a little more purple for the next one. It's a little bit darker. All right, then I'm going to grab lots of white. Try to make this a little bit lighter all the way over here. So I'm really just trying to make and I need to make that a little bit darker there and add some more layers here. But I'm trying to make a value scale from light to dark all the way across. I'm playing around with value. So have some fun, ask questions, and tinker around.